guys, what's up? It's Katie, and I'm back making this Act 5 series. Now, I'm making this series for a number of reasons. The first one is that I have gotten a lot of questions regarding Act 5, and I'm actually finding them kind of hard to answer because it was so long ago when I ran through it and that sort of thing. And also, I know there are a lot of new players out there. I've got some friends who've, started playing the game, and they're looking for some, Act 5 guides with relevant champs to 2019. So I'm hoping with this series, I'll do my best to, explain Act 5, walk through it with the past, the bosses, the nodes, and champ information that is relevant to 2019. So for this video, I'm going to be looking at 5.2.3, The Dawn. Now, I will not be going through each path in a video. I may do that in later chapters, but, in 2019, these chapters are pretty straightforward. But the first thing that I want to go over is this spreadsheet that I have that I've created. So it lists the global nodes, it's got all the link nodes, and then it's got the paths that I've created with the nodes that are on each path. And then I have each path labeled. So with this one, there are 3 easy paths: path 1, path 3, and path 5. And then path 2 and path 4 are what I believe to be the hardest paths. But this map is a little tricky, which you can take a look at here, and we'll go over the map in a minute. But it's kind of like a choose your own adventure type deal. So now, like I said, they're all color coded, and I've got the description of the nodes right over here so you can take a look at it. Now, this is an active spreadsheet, so if you guys have any questions, suggestions, that sort of thing to it, feel free to comment in the video, and then I can go in and edit it out. Now, I also have the map here. You can go ahead and click this link to the map, download it. That way you can use it to plan out your routes, to pick your champs, what routes suit you the best, that sort of thing. So I'm hoping that that'll help you guys out. Now, most of the buffs and fights in these first few chapters are pretty straightforward, but as we get into the later chapters in Act 5, it's gonna get a little bit more tricky. So let's go ahead and take a look at the global nodes. And for the global nodes, now we've got role reversal and Mystic Ward and Buffet. Now, role reversal we saw in 5.2.1 and 5.2.2, and I've got a little beef with role reversal, and that is this. So role reversal, as many of you know, is the class where relationships on the node are switched. So as you can see in this picture, it doesn't show it, and that's just a pet peeve of mine. I don't know. I know it's not a big deal, but it's just something that just irritates me. So fix it. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to the spreadsheet. So then we also have Mystic Ward, which nullify effects have a 65% chance to fail. So if you're bringing in champs to nullify buffs, they're probably going to fail. So a lot of your Mystic champs will fail at nullifying the buffs. And then we've also are now introduced to Buffet, and Buffet is every 7 seconds, the next buff triggered by the attacker is nullified, and the defender gains 5% of max health. So this one's not too bad. Buffet is only 5% here, so it's very easily managed. But we're starting to get into the more buffed up chapters, and things are going to start getting harder. So now if we go ahead and we take a look at the map for 5.2.3, I have created 5 paths. Now, like I said, this is kind of a choose your own adventure type deal. 2 and 4 are the most difficult that I feel, and 1, 3, and 5 are the easiest. But I did make a video for path 2 and path 4, which we'll go over in a little bit, but they're all pretty simple. If you follow path 1 here, so you start out at the star, if you follow this, you go through She-Hulk, you go all the way through to Venom over here, and then once you get to Iron Fist, you will start taking down the link nodes, which will make the rest of the path a lot easier. Now, if you take down Iron Fist, you remove stun immunity from Doctor Strange, but you don't necessarily have to go through him. And then if you go through Black Panther, you will remove stacked deck and the extra armor from Joe Fixit, who is the boss. Then if you go continue, and taking out Daredevil will remove enhanced abilities from Abomination and Luke Cage. And then taking out Colossus will remove special 2-lock from Cyclops and Doctor Strange. But again, you don't necessarily have to go through them if you don't want to. You can choose to go through them. So then you can take the option to port right before Luke Cage, or you can port here. and you can fight an unlinked Doctor Strange and Cyclops, so you don't have to fight them linked later. The choice is yours. It's like a choose your own adventure. Path 3 here is marked in yellow, and it's pretty straightforward, right? So you got Loki, not too hard. You got Hood, Agent Venom, Beast, Iron Man, and then right here you got Magneto, Marvel Now, and if you do that, you unlink the recovery from Voodoo, which is always good, right? You don't want to fight a recovery Voodoo. So once you get there, you can either port here and go straight and fight Voodoo, or you can choose to port over here and go through Unstoppable Colossus. The choice is yours, and then continue on through till you get to the boss, which is Joe Fix-It right here. Path 5, the orange path here, it's very similar to Path 3. You know, they're pretty standard fights. You got Ant-Man, Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler can be kind of tricky. He can evade a lot, so you gotta be kind of careful there. Falcon, not too hard. Try pushing him to his special 2. It's a lot easier to dodge than his special 1. Black Widow, she can evade you, can be kind of tricky. Drax, pretty straightforward. Gambit, again, pretty straightforward. And then you come over here to Scarlet Witch, and once you get to Scarlet Witch, she will remove Spite from Punisher and Dr. Voodoo, and then you can go through Cyclops. He will remove the enhanced abilities from Spider-Gwen and Unstoppable Colossus. So then you can choose to either port over here, and you know, you can fight them now, or you can skip both Dr. Voodoo and Punisher by porting over here instead, again, and go through Unstoppable Colossus. The choice is yours. The links, you can choose basically what links you want to take out and, you know, make the pass more suitable to you. You can make them either more difficult like this or less difficult. The choice is yours and yours alone. Now, Path 2 and Path 4, they have noted opponents and incoming links, which is why they are marked the hardest. But, you know, like I said, you can take either 3 easy pass and save 2 hard pass, or you can spread the difficulty out. The choice is yours. You hold the power. Okay, so now that we've got, you know, kind of an understanding of how this map looks, let's take a look at Path 2 and go over, you know, some of the fights in it. So the first opponent we come across is Spider-Man, and he's got no nodes or links right now. But let me tell you, he is a pain in the ass. So I decided to bring in Venom because I was like, Spider-Man can't evade me, right? But you guys just saw right there that he evaded me, and I don't know if that has something to do with Mystic Ward or what. I mean, maybe I don't feel like it should, but I'm not too sure why he evaded Venom when he shouldn't. So maybe if you guys have an answer to that I don't know about, is it a bug? I don't know. So then I decided to bring in Archangel because I figure I can put some neurotoxins on and that'll stop his evade, and it does. So Archangel is another really good option for this because once you get those neurotoxins on, Spidey won't evade you. Blade is another good option for this. Now, Blade won't stop the evades, but you can parry bleed him. You just need to be careful. Just watch his power, you know, watch the evades, do only like 3 hit combos. That way he doesn't come back and smack you in the face. And be careful with the buffet, right? You want to get your debuffs on. You got to watch that buffet. You want to get your debuffs on at the right time. So I always like to push him to his special 2. It's a lot easier to dodge than the web shots and the punches. Iceman's another really good option. Spider-Man can't evade when that cold snap is on. So make sure you got your cold snap on if you're bringing in Iceman. Now, Star-Lord, he's got Power Start 1, so he starts with one bar of power, excuse me. Using a mutant will give you class advantage because of the role reversal. Now, it's really not a hard fight. You definitely want to bait out that special 1, get him to throw that, so you don't want to push him to a special 2. Even blocking a special 2 from Star-Lord, you'll take a good bit of block damage. But any mutant is really a good option here. So now we move on to Ghost Rider, and he's got Power Start 1. Now, really, any champ will work, but Blade is really good for this. And in fact, Blade is really good for this entire chapter. So if you have a Blade, I highly suggest bringing him in for this. It'll help you out a lot. So, but Blade with the danger sense is great, like I said, for this. But again, any old champ will work. You can bring in Sabretooth. Any high damage dealing champ is going to do you good. So now we're moving on to Jane Foster, who also has Power Start 1. So you can either try to push her to her special 2 or bait out that special 1. I always prefer to to push her to her special 2. It's a lot easier to dodge, especially if you're not good at kind of dodging that last little shock that she puts out. I've got the class disadvantage here with Cap, but he is such a high damage dealer that it's not really an issue. But again, Blade would be great for this. I went ahead and dropped my special 3 here. It does a decent amount of damage. So, but again, you can see why Blade is such a good option for this, right? He gets the damage over time. You just kind of got to be careful with that buffet. But if you bring in Blade with the Mystic and Danger Sense synergy, he's going to do you really great for this entire chapter, not just this path. So he's probably the MVP for this chapter, in my opinion. So now we're moving on to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange has Stun Immunity and Special Lock 2. So with Special Lock 2, you can't get more than 1 bar of power, but you can use this to your advantage if you have willpower. So if you need to heal, don't throw your special. Now, you'll get a little debuff, and you'll see it here once I get up full 2 bars of power. But once you get that little debuff on, it's going to trigger willpower. And so that'll help heal you up. There's the little debuff that, saying I'm locked in special 2. But you can see I'm healing up because I have that debuff on. So if you need to heal, hold that special until you get healed where you need to heal. So I brought in Archangel here for this, but, really any champ is a good one. Again, Blade for this is great. Be careful with Doctor Strange. His special 1 is much easier to evade than his special 2, so definitely keep him at that. So now we're moving on to Blue Cyclops, and again, he's got Special Lock 2. I brought in Blade for this because we've got the class advantage due to role reversal, so you just kind of got to work yourself around the buffet, but the buffet is really only 5%, so it's not too bad. Any high damage dealing champ is going to do you good. Cap Infinity War is a great option for this because he does a ton of damage. So, but Archangel's another really good one for this. You can get the bleeds, get the neurotoxins, and kind of just let them bleed out. But he's a really good option for this chapter as well. Him and Blade are probably the MVPs for this chapter just because of the damage that they can do and the way they can shut down the abilities. So now we're moving on to Luke Cage, and Luke Cage has enhanced abilities, which I'm pretty sure makes his indestructible trigger faster. So you're going to need to be wary of that and pay attention to it. Any high damage dealing champ is going to do great for this fight, but definitely pay attention to his indestructible. Pay attention to that little indestructible timer at the top and try not to trigger the buffet and heal him while he's indestructible. That's not going to be good because you're going to try to hit into him to negate that damage, and it's not going to do you any good because he's indestructible. But overall, Luke is a pretty simple fight. Just pay attention to that indestructible and bring in some high damage dealers. Starky's a good option for it. Sabretooth, once you build up those Furies, he's another really good option for it. Cap Infinity War, Hype would be great for this. You can build up those Furies and just go ham. So, but overall, it's a pretty simple fight. Nothing too serious. Okay, so now we're moving on to Abomination. And he also has enhanced abilities, so he will trigger poison more frequently than normal. So you're going to want to bring a poison immune champ with you, or you will drop dead like that. So, your Iceman, your Vision, Hype, Ultron, basically any of the poison immune cosmics or techs are great options for this. So I just kind of wish Iceman's damage was a little bit more. But, it is what it is. So with Abomination, you want to definitely bait out those special ones. Both of his specials are fairly easy to dodge, but his special 1 is just a headbutt. It's not like a jump at you and a punch. So definitely try to bait out those special ones over the special 2s. You don't want to take any unnecessary damage. But overall, it's pretty simple. Again, his special 1 is the easiest of the 2 to go ahead and dodge. So this is kind of long because Iceman's damage is just really not there. But any poison immune champ is going to do you good for this fight. You don't want to bring a bleeder in here too, otherwise you'll drop dead pretty quick. All right, so now we're at the boss. And we've got Joe Fixit as the boss. And Blade is awesome for this fight with the villain synergy. So again, Blade MVP for this chapter. Now, Joe he's got armor and he's got stacked deck. So He has plus 45% armor, and he's got stacked deck. And stacked deck is just a node for Joe Fixit. So what stacked deck is when he gets his double down ability, it becomes permanent. So definitely be careful of that. So out of Joe's specials, his special 2 I think is the easiest to dodge. It's really not bad. You just got to get your timing right with it. But if you're not comfortable dodging his special 2, just go ahead and bait out that special 1, dodge the headbutt, and then block the bullets, and you'll be okay there. But just be wary of it. Archangel's another good option for this. Yes, Joe is poison immune, but you'll still get the bleeds on with Archangel. You definitely don't want to bring in a champ that just inflicts poison. If you're going to bring in a damage over time champ, you're going to want to bring in someone like a bleeder or someone that shocks or incinerates, something like that, and that'll help you out a lot here. So, but overall, Joe Fixit's a pretty simple fight. Nothing too crazy with him. Not yet, at least, with the bosses, right? So you can see with the special 1, we dodged the headbutt and just took the machine gun bullets, and they really didn't do too much damage. So, but overall, again, Joe's an easy fight. Nothing you really got to worry about too much. All right, so now let's go ahead and take a look at Path 4. So we're starting out with Phoenix, and she has Power Start 2, so you definitely want to bait out that special 2. You don't want to push her to her special 3. Any power control champ is going to be great for this. Magic is really great for this because you can, once you get that first special 2 out of her, you can just power lock her. And that's kind of what you want to do, just rinse and repeat, unless she's got a lot of buffs up. If she's got a lot of buffs up and you bring in Magic, you're going to want to push to your special 3 because she'll do more damage Magic will do more damage when she's got more buffs, when the opponent has more buffs up with her special 3. And you're going to see that here in a minute. So she's got 6 Furies and 4 Phoenix charges. So we're going to try to maybe bait this special 1 out of her. And she didn't want to throw it, so I decided to launch my special 3 here. And just look at that damage. She's down to 22% now. So Magic is really good for this, but really any power control champ would be great. We do have the class disadvantage here, but really you don't have to worry about that. So we're just gonna rinse and repeat, power lock. Definitely be careful with the right of the Phoenix. If you're punching into her when she gets that, she can come back swinging at you. So be wary when she gets close to around 1% because she'll get that right of the Phoenix and come back and start swinging. All right, so now we are moving on to Storm, and she has Power Start 2. Now, if you're not great at dodging that special 2, what you want to do is you make sure you want to block it if you're not that great at dodging it. But a little trick to dodging that special 2 is as soon as she gets to the top in the air, dash back, and you'll block the lightning bolts. And after that, just keep baiting out those special 1s, and you'll be fine. Her special 1s are pretty easy to dodge. As soon as she goes up, just dash back. It's not too heavy. Any champ will really work against her. I decided to have a little fun with Nebula here. I don't really get to play Nebula that often except in Arena. So I decided to have some fun with Nebula, see what she could do. Build up my shock charges. That's what you want to do with Nebula. With Nebula, you want to build up your shock charges, land the parry, and then launch your special 2 so that it doubles your shock charges, and your opponent will just crumble from that damage. So there we go. We got the parry, 17 shock charges, launch the special 2, and she's got 34 shocks. So she's just going, that damage was just ticking down pretty easy. But overall, Storm's not a hard champion to fight. Any old champ will do. A skill champ would be great here. You would have the class advantage, so you could bring in Blade, get the bleeds going, parry bleed, get the power. Here I brought in Cat, so I could get high damage dealer, trying to bait out that initial special 2. There we go. Excuse me. So, with Cap, you want to essentially parry heavy, launch your special 2 in the middle of a heavy, build up your kinetic charges, and get your little Fury on, do a ton of damage. Overall, pretty simple fight. This path really isn't too bad. So now we're moving on to Quake, and she had Power Start 2. So you want to be careful of the Quake charges. If you get any Quake charges on you, you want to make sure that you throw your special right before the timer expires. If you do that, you won't get stunned and she won't come in punching you in the face. So, but really, any old champ will work here. I personally prefer baiting out her, or pushing her to her special 2 and baiting out her special 2 over her special 1. It's a little easier for me to dodge than her special 1. Sometimes I get clipped at the tail end of her special 1 there and end up getting some quake charges on me. So you can see there she charged her heavy, so I got 1 quake charge on me right there. But no big deal. Magic's a great option for this. We do have class advantage here because of the role reversal, and we can power lock her. So now we're moving on to Dr. Voodoo, and he has recovery and spite. Now, if you have a duped high sig void, bring him in. He is also another great champ for this because you can end up doing reverse healing with void. So he's another really good option for this. With void, all you want to do is you want to get your debuffs on. So, you know, chain throw that special 1. Definitely want to bait out Dr. Voodoo's special 1 over his special 2. It's easier to evade. I did push him to his special 2 there, but it's no big deal. I'm trying to get this special 2 out of him now. We've got 4 charges on him now, or excuse me, 5 now, not charges, debuffs. I'm still on Quake Fight. So, but you can see Void's damage, or excuse me, debuffs are just ticking down. Now we got Fear of the Void. So you want to, once you get Fear of the Void, you want to try to get another debuff on him, add a little bit extra damage to it. So, but overall, Dr. Voodoo is not a really hard fight. If you have Blade with Danger Sense, again, this would be another great option for this. You know, Blade can just tear through Dr. Voodoo. Blade tears through Dr. Voodoo and Magic, pretty simple. But I think the best option for this would either be Void or Blade. Cap Infinity War, he would be another really good option for this too, because he just has he just does so much damage. So you could bring in Hype if you choose to build up your Furies, get that high damage. Throw your Incinerates on. Any champ like that is going to do you good here. Definitely if you're, worried about the power with Spite. So I do want to mention a thing about Spite. You definitely want to be careful of Spite and pay attention to the power bar. You do not want to push him to a special 3. Okay, so now we're moving on to Punisher. And again, he's got Spite like Voodoo. And so the thing about Spite is anytime the opponent gets a buff, he'll gain a bar of, not a bar, he'll get a power flood. So you definitely want to be careful about that. So watch watch his bar of power, watch for the Spite, watch for the power flood. Definitely bait out those specials when you can. Now the thing with Punisher is his specials, they do a ton of damage, both the special 1 and special 2, even while blocking. So you definitely want to try to bait out that special 1 over the special 2, because you can at least dodge the big fist punch and then block the bullets. I'm not that great at dodging the bullets off the special 1, and I'm for sure not great at dodging the bullets off the special 2. So definitely try and bait out the special 1. Don't push him to a special 2, and definitely don't push him to a special 3. A power lock champ would be great. Magic just tears it up in here. So now we're moving on to Unstoppable Colossus, and he has enhanced abilities, so his Unstoppable lasts a little bit longer. Spider-Gwen, She-Hulk, Cap Infinity War, they are great options for this fight because they can stop his Unstoppable. Magic is really good here. Any power control champ would be really good for this fight because you can control their power, and so you can kind of control his Unstoppables, right? He'll only get Unstoppable at the beginning of the fight and then after he throws a special. So if you bring in a power control champ, you're going to limit how many Unstoppables he's gonna get. But Magic is a great option. Just, rinse and repeat with those special 2s. Keep him locked, keep him power locked. Vision would be another good option for this. Vision can also put a heal block on, so he would be another really great option for this. Vision, Age of Ultron, he can steal the power, so that would be another really good one to bring in. Really, any of those would be great options for this. But overall, Unstoppable Colossus, really not a hard fight. I just wanted to have some fun with Nebula here. Get the high shocks on. Alright, so now we're moving on to Spider-Gwen, and she has enhanced abilities. Now, when I first cleared Act 5, Spider-Gwen was kind of a joke, right? Like, she really didn't do anything special. Well, now this is the buffed up Spider-Gwen. So with enhanced ability, she's going to be evading a lot more. So you definitely want to be careful of that. Her special 2 is much easier to dodge than her special 1, so you can try pushing her to her special 2. I decided to bring in Hood here so I could get the class advantage since it is role reversal. But, you know, you could try to bring in Venom, but then again, Spidey evaded Venom, so I'm not really quite sure if that had something to do with the Mystic Ward, what that was going on for. So, but just be careful if you're thinking she's evading you a lot, definitely move on to like 3-hit combos. Okay, so now we're moving back on to, we're now at the boss, and I decided to bring in Dr. Voodoo here to see if I could nullify his armor, and that wasn't a good decision. So it's really not, Voodoo's damage is not counteracting his regen. So you want someone who can take him down pretty quickly, and unfortunately, Voodoo is not it. So I kind of made a grave error here. So don't bring in Voodoo for this fight. You want to bring in a high damage dealer, as I said before. Blade is another really great option for this with the villain synergy. Plus he'll put the bleed on. Any champ that can, again, put like a damage over time like bleed, incinerate. You don't want to do one with poison since Joe Fixit is poison immune, but those would be great options for this fight. You could even bring in Void. Void would be another really good option for this. I brought in Hood here. I got my stagger on, and you'll see here in a minute that the stagger will actually take away the armor. Now we do have the class advantage with Hood since it is role reversal. So, but overall, Joe Fixit, again, really not a hard champ to fight. So any old champ will really do, any of the real high damage dealers or someone that can stagger those debuffs is going to help you out a lot. So, but like I said before, this is kind of a choose your own adventure type chapter. You can basically choose, you know, how hard you want your pass to be, how easy you want your pass to be. You can have the 3 easy pass and the 2 hard pass like I have in the map, or you can adjust them to your liking. But that's all that I got, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. If you liked what you saw and you want to see more, please remember to like and subscribe, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and hit me up in the Discord chat. Thanks, guys. Bye.